Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this this bike computer here that has speed and cadence. Take these, take it all apart. Here's the magnet for the cadence. There's the magnets, the sensors for cadence and speed, and the magnet down there for the speed on the wheel. I have it all on the back so I can use it on the trainer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it with this new sensor I bought, which is the Bontrager Interchange Combo Sensor, the speed and cadence. And I'm going to use that with my Strava app and some other app like Wahoo Fitness or something like that to replace this one. And I'm just going to transfer this one over to my wife's bike, and that's the idea for today. So we'll do that and show you how I get it done. The tools I'll be using is a simple small wire cutter to get off the zip ties, and the hex wrench because I have to take the pedal off in order to get the cadence sensor on there. So first we're gonna start by taking off this computer here, which I guess goes forward, so we can free up the holder there and get that off. Now I'm going to proceed to cut the old zip ties here. It's to remove the computer holder. Next, we're going to do the same for the sensors here. I'm going to cut these plastic ties off and get those off the bike. And lastly, I'm going to cut these zip ties that hold on to the magnet for the cadence and get that off as well. Okay, now we're going to take off the pedal so we can slide the new cadence sensor on there. And in my case, I can use either a 6mm Allen wrench or a 15mm box wrench. And because my Allens are kind of small and the pedals are on there pretty tight, I'm going to choose to use the 15mm, which fits right in to the lug right behind there. One last thing here I'm going to add before I take off the pedal is that in the non-drive side pedal, you have to turn, in order to loosen it, you have to turn it clockwise, and in order to tighten it, you turn it counterclockwise, which is the opposite of the other pedal of the drive side. Okay, so now we're gonna unbox the new sensor and get that ready to put on there. So we start off by removing the sensor itself. So now we have here the actual sensor, the cadence magnet that goes on the crankshaft, a little rubber holder, which I don't use. I use zip ties that come with it, and here's the wheel magnet for the speed sensor, and of course our handy little manual here, the installation guide. So we'll start by sliding the cadence sensor onto the shaft here, the crankshaft. In order for it to slide on easier, I wet it underwater a little so it'll slide easier over the metal. And there it is, just right below where the pedal goes, and ready to go on to the next step. The next step will be putting the sensor onto the chainstay and getting it aligned with the pedal so that we get the right position. So in order to adjust it and get it all working, what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily use the rubber holder that they gave me to put it on the bike and get it positioned right, and then I'll use the zip ties to fasten it down. This sensor has a little leg here that you need to loosen, and in this case, for this one, it takes a 2mm Allen wrench. In order to loosen it, you just stick it in here and loosen it normally like you would any screw. Okay, now it's time to put the speed sensor magnet onto the wheel, and you want to use one of the outside spokes to get it as close as possible. Now that we have it all aligned and ready to go, we can finish tightening everything down and putting it in its place before we finish putting off the zip ties. And now we fit back the pedal back on there, so it makes it easier to spin. Make sure you do it with your hands very softly, and always have a little grease on it or something. Okay, and the next step is to connect and pair up the sensor to the cell phone. I'm using a cheap throwaway phone in case anything happens to it. I really don't care about it, and so that's what we'll be doing now. Okay, so the programs I'm using, I've already downloaded them and installed them, are the Wahoo Fitness, Strava, and the Runkeeper. And hopefully one or two or all of these will be able to hook up to the sensor and monitor it. These are easily downloaded off of the Play Store for free, and they work pretty good. So we'll start off by turning on the Bluetooth. GPS is on, and we'll go to the settings. Go to the Bluetooth, and while it's searching, we want to move the sensor, the wheel, so that we can get it to detect. And it hasn't detected it yet, so we'll refresh it and see if we can find it. And there we see it. It says the interchange. So we'll click on that and let it pair up. Okay, there we have it. And now that we have connected and paired up with the sensor, we'll see if it works on the Wahoo. We'll go to the settings, and we need to link it to the Wahoo as well as the phone. So we'll hit link devices, we'll hit speed and cadence, okay, and when we go to link devices, change that over to not, oh, here we go. We hit that. Speed and cadence. And there it is. You see we have a good connection. And it's already paired up. Now let's try out and see if it works. We'll hit the play here.
Bike SPPED and cadence connected.
And see that both of them are working. And as we can see there, we have the speed and the cadence working. So we're good to go. Another thing we want to do is we also want to use it, my favorite program to use, which is Strava. So let's wait for it to acquire the GPS. There we go. We'll go into the settings. Well, we already have it paired up automatically, or not. No, it's not paired up, but there it is. Okay, we have to. No, it's already paired up. So let's see if it works.
Starting ride.
Well, the cadence seems to be working, but the speed is not working on the Strava. And the only thing I can think of is that it's using the GPS instead of the speed sensor from the bike. So I think Strava only works, the cadence will work, but the speed has to come from the GPS. And I don't know if there's a way to change that, but we'll find out.
Stopping ride.
And lastly, we'll do the same for Runkeeper. We'll get it on there. And I'm searching for GPS. There we got GPS. We'll go to the settings and go down to apps, services, and devices. Here we go, device and hardware, and let's see if it works. Okay, unfortunately, it seems that this sensor is not compatible with the Runkeeper. It does not detect it. So we won't be able to use the Runkeeper, but we can use the Wahoo and the Strava, which is okay because those are the ones I use all the time anyway. And I can always export it, all the information, to Runkeeper should I desire to. So that's it, we're done. We've already connected it, paired it up. We can see it working perfectly.
Bike SP PED and cadence connected.
There we go. We can now put this phone back onto the bike and it's ready to go.